The North Sea was restless on the last day of May, 1916. Waves rolled like iron hills beneath a bruised sky. Wind howled through the rigging, and across the gray expanse, the British Grand Fleet moved. 28 dreadnoughts, 49 cruisers, and nearly 80 destroyers. The greatest armada the world had ever seen. On one of those ships, the HMS Marlborough, a young gunner named Edward Clark stood at his post, the sea spray cold against his face. He had heard the rumors for days that the Germans were coming out, that the High Seas Fleet had finally left port to challenge them. He didn't yet know it, but he was sailing toward history's largest naval battle. Far to the south, the German fleet steamed through fog, sleek, disciplined, deadly. Admiral Reinhard Scheer led them, hoping to lure a portion of the British Navy into a trap. But fate, as it often does in war, had other plans. By sunset, both sides would be locked into a duel that would shake the foundations of naval warfare forever. The first sighting came at 2:20 in the afternoon. A British cruiser, HMS Galatea, spotted smoke on the horizon, the telltale sign of German ships. A signal flashed through the fleet. Within moments, massive guns began to turn toward the southeast, their barrels glinting in the weak sunlight. Edward could feel the tension vibrating through the deck beneath his boots. He had trained for months to load and fire the great 13.5-inch guns, but no training could prepare a man for what was coming. When the order came, "Open fire," the ship shuddered as thunder ripped through the sky. The shell, weighing nearly half a ton, screamed across the waves, vanishing into distance and smoke. Then the Germans answered. The first explosion struck a British battlecruiser. A column of flame burst upward, followed by a roar that drowned out every sound. HMS Indefatigable was gone, 6 minutes into battle, blown apart by a single perfect shot. Edward froze. The men around him stared into the horizon where their comrades had been, now replaced by rising smoke and burning oil. Admiral Beatty, commanding the British battlecruisers, grimly remarked, "There seems to be something wrong with our bloody ships today." But there was no time to mourn. Shells screamed overhead, metal tore, the sea turned black with soot and fire. HMS Queen Mary was next, a flash, a deafening blast, and then nothing. Within 15 minutes, 2 ships and 2,000 lives had vanished beneath the waves. The battle raged into the evening. By now the full British Grand Fleet had arrived, Admiral Jellicoe's dreadnoughts forming a vast crescent wall of steel. Across from them, the German line braced for the onslaught. The ocean became an arena of thunder and chaos, more than 250 ships trading broadsides, each volley shaking the earth. Edward's world narrowed to sound and smoke. The gun's recoil slammed through his arms, the air thick with the smell of cordite and burning paint. Somewhere aft, a shell tore through the deck, killing 3 men. The sea poured in, blood mixing with salt. Still they fired, still they fought. The horizon burned crimson as dusk fell. Flames reflected off the waves like molten glass. Ships were silhouettes, black shapes flashing with cannon fire. Orders and screams blended into the roar of engines and the crash of waves. For hours death came from every direction, from above, from below, from unseen enemies hidden in smoke. At 11 p.m., the German fleet began to withdraw under cover of darkness. They had dealt terrible blows, and taken them too. By morning, both fleets limped back toward their coasts, battered and bleeding. When the sun rose over the North Sea on June 1, 1916, the smoke cleared to reveal the cost. Over 8,600 men dead, 25 ships sunk or crippled, and an ocean littered with twisted iron and drifting souls. On the Marlborough, Edward stood silently on deck, the wind cold against his face once more. The sea was calm now, too calm. The bodies of sailors floated among pieces of wreckage, their faces pale in the morning light. He thought of the thunder that had filled the night, the fire that had swallowed ships whole, and the silence that followed. He thought of what it meant to survive when so many had not. The Battle of Jutland would end without a clear victor. The British kept control of the seas, the Germans claimed tactical success. But for the men who fought there, victory meant nothing. All they remembered was the sound, the endless roar of guns, the scream of steel, the ocean on fire. Years later, Edward would write in his journal, "We fought not for glory, nor empire, nor pride. We fought because the man beside us did. And when the guns stopped, the sea was quiet again, as if nothing had ever happened. And so the North Sea keeps its secrets, cold, gray, and eternal. Beneath its waves lie the bones of ships and men, still locked in their silent battle. Steel and salt, courage and fear, the memory of thunder that never truly fades."